on Sportscaster, and I believe we are about to hit live button. There we go. Let me pull up the Sportscaster comments here. What's up, everybody? All right, cool. It's been a while. It's been a week since we last did this, right? Last time live was, I believe, last Sunday. So for week 8, we're here for week 9. Welcome back to the channel if you're new here. My name is Sal Vetri. I will be breaking down this slate, and really not breaking it down. It's more of a Q&A style, so I'm going to wait for some of the comments to get in. What's up, Matthew? What's up, Mike? See people popping in now. Muscles, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Let me open this browser. Sup? What's going on, Bob? What's going on, everybody? How is it going? What's up, brother? My man, staying busy on NBA. Yeah, definitely. Too busy. Morning, Sal, or not too busy. Never too busy. Morning, Sal. How are we doing, buddy? We're doing good. What's up? Good to see you. Good to see you, everybody. Yes. Cool. Let me get this up. I got Sportscaster up on the phone. Welcome to everybody on Sportscaster. Hello to everybody on Twitch. And then the majority of you probably over there on the YouTuber. How's your Sunday? The Sunday is going good. Got up today. I guess it was daylight savings or something. I don't know, but supposed to get an extra hour of sleep, but I ended up waking up at like 3:45, just wide awake. So I just got up and did some stuff. Cool. What's up? What's going on, everybody? Cool. Everybody's hopping in here. I see people hopping in. What's up, Sal? What's the perfect lineup this week? Bunch of Aaron Rodgers. Hello, Greg. Hello. Let's get this money. Yes. You still feeling Noah Fant? I've never been feeling him. I think he's one of the 5 pay down punt options at tight end. Feeling him, no. Exposures are going to be very much syndicated around 3 or 4 players. What's up, Open Heart? What's up, Norm Core? Joining over on Sportscaster. How you doing over there? You like Tampa Bay stack with Winston, Godwins, and Evans for a GPP? Yeah, it's fine if you can afford it and find a way to make it all work. It seems like it makes sense. CMC or Cook and Cash? It's whatever one you can afford. If you can afford both of them, then just get up to CMC. If you can get a better wide receiver or defense or whatever it might be by getting to Cook, and probably just wide receiver or tight end mainly, then get to Cook. I think they're both great. Cook and CMC both project out for over 20 points for me each. They're both great. CMC is going to project more just because of his pass catching involvement. There's definitely a higher floor and ceiling to it. How are you feeling about Doyle? He's one of the 4 options at tight end to punt. Bell today, question mark? Yeah, Bell's like a top 5 running back choice. I think he's okay. Sal, Winston or Carr for cash? I would prefer Winston there, I believe. They're both okay. Jaylen Samuels or Mark Walton? Jaylen Samuels, 100% there. I'm taking a beating lately. Lead me to the promised land. You need to get out of whatever domestic relationship you're in. Why are people on Walton? He saw 17 opportunities, 6 targets on Monday Night Football, 87% of the snaps, and if they don't activate a running back as they did not last week for a third running back, that is, he's going to be playing 70+% of the snaps and seeing, once again, as an underdog, probably 5+ targets. He's a good price point, Walton. How do you feel about Winston? I think he's fine. I think he's fine. He's a 6-point underdog on the road. It could be a complete blow-up spot for Winston, and he looks terrible like he has in the past, but he can throw 5 picks and still get you 25 fantasy points, so it's fine. Can you show your tight end page? Yes, I can. So yes, hopefully everybody's having a good day. The Closing Thoughts podcast, about 40 minutes or so, went up on Patreon this morning. Everything is active and live on Patreon, including all my NFL stuff, as well as my NBA stuff. The projections for today will be out around 2 or so on NFL. Do you like Miller? I do as well. I don't know who Miller is. Josh Jacobs or Aaron Jones? That's actually a very close call between Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones. The fact that Jacobs is not getting ownership, I will say go there in GPPs more often. But Aaron Jones is going to project out as the better play. But if he's not getting ownership, which he's not, you should probably go there more. Again, it's risky because he doesn't have much pass catching involvement. Jacobs, your best day out of Jacobs is 2 catches for 10 yards, right? Or one of your median days at best. So yeah. Waller, your favorite tight end? It's just a group. You can see right here. There's 3 guys I have yeses by. I'm going to have the most ownership to those 3. The guys who have X's, I'll have some, but not all. Tight ends, I keep very tight. Those 3 at the top, I'll have the most ownership by a wide margin. And then those bottom 4 will fill out the remaining 25% of my ownership. Mike Williams and GPPs? Yeah, he seems fine. Rivers is fine for sure. Yep. Norm sends me a... What's going on, Ian? Joining in what we see... right now I'm seeing on Sportscast. We're live on, so Twitch and YouTube as well. I see Norm just sent a $10 tip over on, or $10 ticket over on Sportscaster. Thank you. Wide receiver sheet, somebody says. Yeah, we'll get there in a second. I'm going to start back up the quarterback page. People are asking questions. Continue to ask your questions, of course, whatever you really want to ask about today. But yeah, so Draftkings specific right here. Fantasy Draft as well. If you want to play on there, we can answer questions as well. But what you're mainly going to be getting here is a couple of guys who are very expensive. Russell Wilson, Matt Stafford, and their options are expensive, right? Kenny Golladay, Tyler Lockett, Jameis Winston. It's a very difficult spot, and I think Tampa Bay's a very good stack today, but it's a very difficult spot to want to get to Winston and feel about a comfortable stack with it. Mike Evans and Godwin have yet to really both of them can obviously go off in a game. It just has yet to happen. I don't think they take away from each other enough. They can both definitely have a 100-yard touchdown game or so, or one goes for 150 and no touchdowns. The other one has 60 catches and 60 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. So they're definitely fine, but they're expensive, right? And then your run back options are Carson, who's $7K, a $7,500 Lockett, and $5,700 Metcalf, and you're almost forced to run it back if you want a game stack with Metcalf. And although he's a decent option, I don't think he's a fantastic option. So I think that's the most obvious game stack today for if you're stacking the Tampa Bay side heavy, but it's really difficult because it's so expensive. Sal, Keenan Allen today? Yeah, I think Keenan Allen's fine today. I think his price point's very good. He's going to probably continue to see double-digit targets, and it's pretty much a must-win at home as an underdog for that Chargers team, 3-5. Stafford or Wilson GPP? Give me Stafford. Sal, how do you feel about Zach Pascal with T.Y. out? I'd rather go elsewhere. He's priced up to 4,100. You're not going to get cheap Zach Pascal right now. The only reason you're even saying Zach Pascal's name is because he had a good game on 50% of the snaps, which was somewhat fluky like a month ago. So he can have a good game today. Yes, they don't really have wide receiver depth, but there's also 4 wide receivers who are going to get cycled through the rotation. I doubt he plays 90% of the snaps. I think there'll be 4 guys splitting up a lot of those outside receiver reps. So I don't really want to be guessing on that when there's other quality 4K options. It's a game stacking week. It's a game stacking week every single week. I'll have 90+% game stacks every single week and close to 100% unless there's some interesting spots. Any love for Marvin Jones? Yep. Yeah, he's the second best option to stack with Stafford, so there's definitely going to be love for me. Devontae Parker or Preston Williams? Slightly Preston Williams, but I'm not getting too caught up in those receivers in Miami. Yes, they have good outside matchups, but I think there's just way better options in the 4K range. Any love for Amendola? Not too much. If you want to make him a part of your groups, if you're stacking with Detroit, he's then your third option behind the top 2 outside guys in Jones and Golladay. And he's cheaper, but not too much. Pascal played 90% of the snaps with T.Y. out last week. Did he? Well, there you go. 90% of the snaps when he left or the entire game. Sal, Devontae Parker or Preston Williams? Devontae Parker. Oh, you already asked that. Can you put Mike Williams in cash? I don't want to. Get to the wide receiver page. Yeah, I'll get there when I get there. Sal, you don't like Hawkinson? No, I don't like Hawkinson. What has he done since week 1 when they went to overtime and played at a very increased snap count when nobody had tape on him? Absolutely nothing except drop touchdowns, about 2 or 3 so far. You going back to the Titans wide receivers? No, I'm not. Really tough matchup for Corey Davis. You can get to A.J. Brown if you really want to. He's just a punt option for GPPs. Bell cash viable without volume. He's going to get volume, so he's cash viable. Yeah, at 7,700, he's cash viable. Sal, you're not a fan of Pascal? No, he's fine if you want to get there. There's 3 to 4 other receivers in the 4K range, in my opinion, that have higher floors and ceilings. Hello, Sal. Good luck today, and thanks for all you do. Yeah, no problem, Blake. No problem. Favorite cheap defense? Whichever one's at home and has a good pass rush. Top 2 favorite wide receivers in the 4K range. I'll go to the wide receiver page, and I guess you could kind of decipher it there. Rivers in cash. Rivers in cash seems a little bit risky because of the pass rush he's facing. He's more of a GPP play for me. Any Jets receivers today? Yeah, Robbie Anderson's definitely tournament viable. And then you have Jamison Crowder, more so a cash play, if anything. Chris Godwin or Allen Robinson in cash? I mean, it's not a huge price difference, I guess. It's $600. It's definitely Godwin, though, for me there. Doyle or Font? Doyle slightly. Chubb or Bell, GPPs? Bell. Sammy Watkins, question mark? Sammy Watkins would have been a lot better if Patrick Mahomes actually suited up today after late reports that he might. Raven fan, what's going on? Joining the Sportscaster broadcast. See you over there. So Sammy Watkins, he's a good option in the 4K range. Good, very loosely. Saw 8 targets last week when he came back. Other guys I like there. Any love for a Viking stack? No interest. I'm going to probably have 0% of every single Vikings pass catcher and Kirk Cousins. Killed it last night. My first night using your NBA projections. Keep it rolling in the NFL today. Appreciate that. Yeah. NBA was just ridiculous last night. It was about an hour straight of just updating projections and players being ruled out and players starting and that you've never even heard of on Golden State and nobody has heard of. And it was annoying. That's the NBA that I don't like about it. It's the part that I do like if you're a player because you can get a great edge in the NBA up until lock when all that stuff happens. But in terms of updating content and projections, it gets so annoying. Sal, C-Mac must play in cash or can I pivot to Chubb? I wouldn't play Chubb over C-Mac. I know there's a big price difference, but he's not a must play McCaffrey because Dalvin Cook's right there. So I would get to one of those guys, McCaffrey or Cook, for sure in cash. I had 93% Drummond in one league. Yeah, Drummond has just been a smash. He's averages in his career 1.4 fantasy points per minute without Blake Griffin, and he's continued to be priced as if he doesn't do that. Would you work in Cook and CMC? You can do it in some lineups. I'm not doing it in most spots. CMC over Cook, somebody says. Yeah, if you can afford one of them, CMC over Cook, yeah, they're at equal ownership. I agree. McCaffrey, I have projected for 4 more fantasy points. Or 3, somewhere in that range. It's Rudolph's birthday month. Yikes. Does Jair Alexander shadow Keenan Allen? No, I doubt it. Jair Alexander will be on Keenan Allen when he's not in the slot. Otherwise, they'll have Tramon Williams on him when they're playing man-to-man. Robbie Anderson or Crowder? Robbie Anderson. Landry or Edelman? It's not even close. It's Landry. Henry or Bell or Chubb? Bell. The big price differences on them, though. Olsen or Doyle? Punt for cash. For cash for a punt? Yeah, it's close. Give me Olsen, but they're like both right there in my projections. Galladay or Godwin? Choose one. Godwin. DJ Moore solid in cash with that floor? Yeah, he's solid in cash for sure. Sal, should I use Godwin or Mike Evans? I'll go Godwin this week, but again, I like both of them. I said the same thing last week. I like both of them. I chose Mike Evans last week in single spots when I just kind of got one-offs. This week in one-off spots, I'm going with Godwin. Do you like Phillip Rivers? Could he be in a shootout with Rodgers? Yeah, he can be in a shootout with him. I like Phillip Rivers, more so in GPPs. He's going low-owned. I like him. Your slate breaker at each position. I don't really have a slate breaker at each position. Whoever you see on this sheet that is a Y or an X is somebody I have interest in, and if they're low-owned, then there's your slate breaker. I don't want to predict who the 1% guy that goes off is because it'll happen, and it a lot of times won't be impactful because they're 1%. DJ Moore over Landry, question mark. I prefer Landry. Hey, Sal, can you give my daughter a shout-out? Ariel Newberger. There you go. Sal, you like Hunter Renfrow for Oakland? No, I don't. Feeling good playing Jacobs? Yeah, I like Jacobs today. Why don't you like Vikings receivers? Because they're 2 of the 3 most expensive players in the slate, and Kirk Cousins is probably going to throw the ball 26 times today. So no interest in paying top dollar for them. Yes, Stephon Diggs has been fantastic, but now Thielen is going to be back, and they're both priced as if they are each on their own team, Julio Jones and Hopkins. But both of them are not Julio Jones and Hopkins, and they're on the same team. So for both of those guys to pay off that tag, you're probably going to have Kirk Cousins throw 5 touchdowns today, 2 to each of those guys, and I'll just bet on that not happening. Can you show the running back sheet? Yes. I can. Also, if you're watching right now, hit the subscribe button. We're about to hit 15,000 subscribers probably in like 3 days or so. So hit the subscribe button over on YouTube. I appreciate that. If you're watching on Sportscaster, hit the Become a Fan. It's a green button, totally free. And on Twitch, hit the follow button. All that stuff's totally free. Helps me grow, reach more people. If you get any value out of the content, of course. Rodgers or Prescott with a question mark. Give me Dak Prescott. Would you use Jaylen Samuels and Edmonds in the same lineup? No, not at all. Never. Not at all. No. You're only doing that because you see the very cheap price tag on Trey Edmonds and what it can allow you to fit in. There's a good chance Trey Edmonds touches the ball 4 times today for about 15 yards. He can touch the ball 8 times for 50 yards, but that's still probably not doing a single thing for you. Do not play Trey Edmonds today. Unless Jaylen Samuels gets injured, I expect Jaylen Samuels to play about 80+% of the work. They also signed a 3rd running back, so it's not even like Trey Edmonds can be the guy to see all of that backup duty today. Sal, you still on Jones with Devontae in? I like Jones. Yeah, I think he's fine. Devontae being in is a big question mark. Devontae I would like a lot more. You doing an NBA video today? I already did one, Jordan. It went up at 5 a.m. So there you go. Do you feel Devontae is 100%? I do not. I know I've seen the videos of him running in practice and jumping over somebody. I don't know if he'll be 100%. We'll see. I don't think they would rush him back because they're 7-1. So I think he's pretty close to 100%. He might be like 80% today. So we'll see what the snaps are. I can see him playing full snaps. I lean that he doesn't. Even that said, though, Devontae Adams at like 80% of the snaps is still one of the best receiving plays on the slate in terms of just pure skill. But then he does have a tough matchup. So it's a really tough spot for me today because I do like Devontae Adams overall as like a run back option if you're stacking the Chargers. But it's a little bit risky because of the matchup one. And then also he's going to get peppered with volume if he's in there healthy. But is he healthy? So I do think Adams is good. I wish he was like 10% owned, but he's like one of the highest owned plays in the slate right now is Devontae Adams. Join your Patreon or Patterson this week. I think you meant Patreon. Awesome stuff. Beats the hell out of Elite Fantasy. I don't know what Elite Fantasy is, but thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. Yeah, I try and put a ton of work into that. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you want to join Patreon, it is linked up down below. Sal, you're the best at this. No, I'm not. I just put a lot of time in. I just have time, I guess you can say. Okay, for the guy who keeps writing the same thing, I'm not going to answer your question, Benjamin, because you wrote it like 10 times, so just don't do that. Should I fade Samuels, says Anthony? I'm not going to, no. I'm going to have very close to, if not 100% Jaylen Samuels, and if he doesn't do good, that's fine. It's very rare that you have a $4,000 running back who's going to see probably close to like 18 touches today, and there's a really good chance he has 5 receptions, if not more. Like, he's game flow independent at $4,000 against a team that schemes to throw it to the running back. Thank you for the $2 donation, Kenneth. I appreciate that. Kenneth Woods, appreciate you. DJ Moore is better. That's why. I don't know who you're talking about. You're probably talking to somebody else. NBA seems to be the mess today, in my opinion. A mess today? It's just Miami. We're waiting on news there. Yeah. Pat Jag, welcome to the chat over on Sportscaster. Anybody interested in Gordon/Eckler? I think Eckler's interesting in large field GPPs. I have him in a group with Phillip Rivers, as well as with Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, and Mike Williams. But I'm not going to get a ton, but I think he's interesting. He's low owned, so you can match the field at like 5% and still feel good about it. Sal, what makes you on Derrick Henry today? I'm very much on him at a low extent. I mean, he's like a 7th, 8th option for me at running back today. So I'm not really on him that much. He's low owned, and he is facing Carolina, who gives up the 7th most fantasy points and most rushing touchdowns. So, yes, rushing touchdowns is a little bit variant, but it also just shows that they're giving up the 7th most fantasy points running backs and giving up the least receptions. So that fits the mold of Derrick Henry pretty well. That said, though, with the value that opened up today, it's not something that I'm prioritizing. He's just in the 5K range all by himself pretty much. So if I land in that range, I get some. Samuel or Crowder? As in Jaylen Samuel or Curtis? Oh, Curtis Samuel or Crowder? And Cash Crowder, GBP Samuel. Just way more upside in Samuel. Any Fitzmagic today, Sal? Not for me. Thoughts on Amendola this week? I think he has the best matchup out of all those receivers. That said, he has the lowest upside without a doubt. His ADOT and his air yards are like 7 yards per average when Kenny Galladay's are 16 and Marvin Jones is 14. So obviously low upside. Pat Jag sends me a $20 tip. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. That's really nice of you over on Sportscaster. Thank you. Thielen or Tyrell Williams? Yeah, what's going on, Alex? So that's a huge price difference. That's a $2,000 difference. I really can't answer that without knowing what else you're doing. I prefer Tyrell Williams, though, for the price difference. How's the Broncos O-line versus Cleveland D-line? So Cleveland D-line's actually very good. So I'll just say that. Like, it's a solid offensive line, but it's a really good defensive line. Why Landry over DJ Moore and Cash? Just wondering your thoughts. You're going to have a very tough matchup for the running backs. In terms of just Nick Chubb. You're going to have Odell getting absolutely shut down, I would imagine, by Chris Harris, who has shut down all 3 of the premier wide receivers he's faced this year. And that just leaves Jarvis Landry, who continues to set career highs in just snap counts, but also in targets this season so far. So over the last month. So it's just a better spot, in my opinion, for the price savings. DJ Moore, I like both of them in cash. In my cash game tiers, they're pretty much touching each other. There's a chance DJ Moore might actually be one ahead of him. But right now, where I stand, it's a toss-up. I'd probably go Landry for $300 savings. Landry is going to have to be the, in my opinion, focal point. Like, you should be trying to run Nick Chubb against that defense, and maybe that he has success. He's like number 1 in breakaway percentage. Thank you, Jannar, for a $2 donation. Zach Pascal, Devontae Parker, DK Cash. Give me Parker. But I'll slightly favor Landry. I like both, though. Please remember, somebody says, Sal's grandmother loves you. Y'all are wild. Winston and John Brown or Ryan Fitzpatrick and Evans and Cash? Winston and Brown. Sal, good morning. Good morning. Seahawks did due diligence on Antonio Brown. That's interesting. Probably will have to wait till 3:30 or so to hear about Adams. Yeah, that's another issue with Adams is I think he'll play, but we won't really have that secure news. And then you're talking about the afternoon slate where there are some options. I mean, Keenan Allen's right there as a wide receiver you can pivot to for a little bit cheaper. But if you're trying to build your whole stack around something, it really does mess some things up. McCaffrey or Cook? If you have the money, McCaffrey. In cash, if you're in a GPP and you want to save some money, I think Cook is fine. I get to each of them. I get to each of them at a high clip. I'm getting to each of them at like 30% each. So you think Singletary isn't viable? Yeah, no, I don't want him. I know he played a ton of snaps last week. It's going to be a week where Frank Gore gets a lot more snaps, if not majority, in a week where they're 9.5-point favorites. Somebody says I'm on mod duty today. Yeah, Anthony, is there a bunch of crazy people hopping in? Sometimes you just get like a stream of like 8 people that are like all bots. It's weird. I don't know how those things operate. Why Landry over DJ Moore and Cash? Just wondering your thoughts. Okay, yeah, just answer that one. How's everybody doing? Why does everybody take a second to see how's everybody doing today? I see that the Jags are down 12-3. Terrible game. Seems gross. Is DeAndre Hopkins doing anything? Melvin Gordon today? Not for me. Isn't Samuels in a tough spot? I would argue that he's in a tough spot. The Colts just want to run. Last year, they're not giving him a ton of receptions this year, but if you look at their schedule, the 2 running backs who are pass-catching running backs that they faced have had 6 receptions each. So this is a defense that wants you to throw the ball to your tight end, slot wide receiver, and running back. This is the second year straight this zone defense wants that. Jaylen Samuels has a good matchup today. And not even to take into account that he's playing in an offense that only is throwing the ball to running backs the far majority of the time. The ADOT on Mason Rudolph is one of the lowest in the league for a reason. He's throwing to running backs. and short to Juju. Would you pair Walton and Samuels in the same lineup? I talked about that on the Closing Thoughts podcast this morning on Patreon. I gave some insight on it. The high-level answer is I think it's okay. It just depends what else you're doing. What are all your picks, says Mike D. I don't really give out picks. I'll give out interests that I think are player pool based, and there's about 50. Well, honestly, in a player pool, if you're talking about defenses for NFL, it should be around like 100. First time in here, Emmanuel Phillips. What's going on, Emmanuel? Yeah, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, if you're still watching this right now, how many people are in here? Can somebody let me know? Hit the subscribe button. It'd be great to get close to 15,000 closer. If not, hit it today. That'd be great. No Sunday night football videos. Somebody asked. I'm not gonna be doing a lot of Sunday night football videos. I'll try and get them out, but with the NFL starting up and doing an NFL video every day, it's taking the priority on Sundays over the Sunday night football, or the NBA starting up. Yeah. What about Aaron Jones? He's fine. He's a top 5 player right now for me at the running back position. Golladay or Godwin and Cash? Really, both are fine. I'll go Godwin. You like Pascal without Hilton? I'm not really on it. I think he's okay, but I'm not really on it. Sal, pay up for Waller or go to Brait? That's a huge difference, so I really can't give you the answer there. You're talking about a $4,000 price difference on tight ends or $3,500. Like, what else are you doing with your lineup? I feel like it's basic, says Anthony. Somebody says I feel basic. Just playing. I'm great. That London game is ugly. Yeah, it probably is. Amendola and Cash for DJ Moore. I'd rather have DJ Moore. DJ Moore, I think, has a similar floor. Sprig, welcome to the Sportscaster chat. I think he has a similar floor, but just more upside DJ Moore. Your opinion, Juju or Keenan Allen? Give me Keenan Allen, honestly. This is really important. Bell or Chubb? Give me Bell. Doing great. 750 watching. Yeah, I take Bell there. 755. Cool. I think we'll hit 1,000. Ertz question mark? Yeah, I like it. Can you change your running back sheet to QB? Yeah, I can. 759 are watching. Cool. Yeah, I'll be on till noon. Do you like Amendola in a Lions stack? I don't. I know he's cheap. I just don't. No. Amendola is very similar to the Crowders of the world for me. He's just not targeted downfield. Like a guy like Landry is targeted downfield, so that's why I like Landry out of the slot, and he's the primary focus probably today of his offense with the matchup that Odell has, whereas Danny Amendola is going to be at best the third option in his offense. Denver's Allen QB in a GPP? Not for me. Somebody says, what's your winning lineup? Man, I wish I could tell you. Great info. Thank you. Good morning, Sal. Keep doing God's work. Thanks, Jason. Any receivers to pay up for? Man, that's all there is today. The only options are to pay up for receiver, it seems. There's like 8 receivers to pay up for. What about Carr? Yeah, I think Carr is interesting. I think he's like a top 5 QB play for me today. Thoughts on Bell? I think Bell's fine. He's right now number 5 in the running back interest of mine, I believe. Do you see Zay Jones having a bigger role, as John Gruden said this week? A bigger role might be 1 catch for 10 yards. No, I really don't want much Zay Jones. There's you could read between what coaches say. A bigger role for Zay Jones with Tyrell Williams back and him still running behind Trevor Davis is literally 3 catches for 50 yards. And that's like a ceiling game for him at 8 fantasy points. You're not winning a tournament with that. I get it. He can fall into the end zone, but no, the guys like Zay Jones, I don't want to just pick between. I'll stick to the better players. You hit Tevin Coleman nice last week. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, it was just luck. The man has like 12 touches and he scores 4 touchdowns. That's absolute luck. Realistically, more times than not, it does nothing there for me, right? But it was just a pivot off of a chalky Ty Johnson, who was a god-awful play last week. Oh, but Sal, you had him in your first look video. Oh, my God, he was an awful play. Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, look at the videos throughout the week. Ty Johnson, 4 running backs active for Detroit. That's a big no-no in playing a player. That's chalky. Any hot takes or anything you want us to be aware of for this slate? I just think it's very difficult, some of these top stacks that people have interest in, because they're expensive to stack. I think stacking the Seattle side of it makes sense against Tampa Bay, but I don't want to do it because Seattle's 6-point favorites. And historically, Russell Wilson will throw the ball 25 times in those situations. If you want him to pay off a $7,100 price tag, Lockett to pay off a $7,500 price tag, and then Metcalf to pay off a $5,700 price tag to win you a GPP, and you want 25 attempts to 28 attempts more times than not, seems really thin. And then you run it back on the other side where Winston and Tampa Bay seems like a great stack, but it's extremely expensive for a spot where the 2 options are Mike Evans and Godwin, and they really don't go off together so far this year. I think they can, but they're very expensive as well. Running it back with DK Metcalf seems almost forced at that point. So there's limited options that seem optimal because of the pricing this week on DraftKings for stacking. That said, I still am stacking. You just have to find those options. I talked about them in the Closing Thoughts podcast this morning on Patreon. If you're interested in checking that out and moving forward for the rest of the season, that is one of the pieces of the many of pieces of content over on Patreon. It is linked up down below. Any Tyreek Hill love? I would have had a ton of love, and I would have jumped a lot of lineups to Tyreek Hill if indeed we saw Patrick Mahomes somehow suit up. But I don't want to pay top dollar. Tyreek Hill's ceiling is so capped with Matt Moore there. You literally saw it last night. Now Chris Herndon is active. I'm not sure he's actually going to play, though, is what they're saying. Okay. Amari Cooper or Godwin, says Spriggs33. Appreciate you over there. Hit the subscribe button over there on Sportscaster. I would say Godwin. Any recommendations for the Green Bay receivers? The only players on Green Bay I have interest in today are Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams. So if you want to run the risk, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be too much of a risk, but with playing Devontae Adams, he's chalky, so is Aaron Jones. So no other interest in those other receivers. Inactivos, somebody says. Yeah, inactive should be out. I can pull up Twitter right now. Oy. What do we got here? Field Yates. All right, so it seems like everybody is what we thought they were, right? Except Chris Herndon is active but might not play. All right, it seems like that's okay, right? Seems like everything is normal for inactives. My boy Trubisky going off. He might. I mean, you need Trubisky to have rushing yards to really hit a ceiling, and his injury seems to be limiting his rushing upside. Only 5 rushing yards per game this year. It's terrible. Would you rather put a running back in the flex or a wide receiver more often? It depends on the week. This week I'm getting to wide receivers more often, but it's not by any major split. It depends on the week. In cash, I usually go 3 running backs if I can, but it really depends on the week. I don't stick to a solid rule. I think getting to wide receivers makes you more unique in GPPs, but it really depends on the week. Hey, Sal, what are your thoughts on starting QB Brandon Allen for Denver? Any potential there? I don't think there's much potential there. No, I don't. Devo Jr. joins the broadcast. What's going on? Hopefully you're having a good day over on Sportscaster. Yeah, I don't really want any of Allen. I get it. He's cheap. He can get you 20 points as a quarterback if he has a good day. It's a brutal matchup for a guy who could barely grip footballs coming out of college. And that's not me taking a joke. He could barely grip footballs coming out of college based on the hand size. So I'm sure he can grip them now if he was signed by an NFL team and they had to watch him, you would hope, throw the football. But a little bit worrisome. Can you realistically get the CMC/Cook and Bell in a GPP lineup? I don't think. I think you're just trying to force too much in there. Whew. What about Will Dissly? Will Dissly is on IR, my guy. Sal is awesome, somebody says. Appreciate that. A $2 donation from PJ says, AP or LaShawn in a year long. Yikes, that's really tough because they both kind of stink. Give me Peterson. I know he's a 9.5 point underdog, but I'm just trying to get volume there, and there's a real chance LaShawn McCoy with the way that those running backs. Yeah, Connor was ruled out, Jacob. There's a really good chance with the spot for those running backs in terms of the KC backfield that they can give McCoy 30% of the snaps because it just goes up and down every single week. It's terrible. Is Landry a sneaky play today? He's at like 12% ownership, so slightly below average. Yeah, somewhat sneaky. So, do you like Waller and Hunter Henry in the same lineup? No, I don't usually do that. No, I think it's viable though because they're both like very much so wide receivers, but I probably don't get there. Do you like Mike Williams' matchup? No, for the most part of the game he's going to face Jair Alexander. It's a pretty nightmarish matchup for Mike Williams, who's becoming more so of a one-trick pony. And the Packers' safeties are very good and they have good pass rush. He's cheap though, so if you want to play him in GPP, it makes some sense. Allen Robinson or Devontae Adams? Allen Robinson is unowned. I take the risk on Allen Robinson there. And it's not really a risk because he has a beautiful matchup. Devontae Adams is 7,100. He's too cheap, but he's also 20% owned, and there's question marks around his name. Allen Robinson is unowned right now, and he's 6,800 for cheaper, and he has a great matchup. Yeah, Adams is not going to be announced until the 3:30 inactives come out. Yeah, Muscles is right. Exactly. There's not going to be no news on Adams right now, or at least no expected news on Adams right now. Robbie Anderson or John Brown? Man, I think both are fine, honestly. Anderson's lower owned, so I would go there, but they're both very low owned, honestly. They're both below 10%. I'll take Robbie Anderson in a GPP. Jameis inactive. Griffin starting. Nope, that's a complete lie. Hey, Sal, Wilson or Stafford in cash? If you could afford Wilson, I'd get there. Actually, no, I lie. No, if you could afford Wilson, I'd get there. I prioritize Stafford, though, just because of the savings. What is your best play this week? Who played on Thursday Night Football? Jimmy Garoppolo is my best play all week. For this week, yeah. He had a good game, right? We'll take that. I'll act like I knew that. Is Winston inactive? Somebody says no. No, don't listen to the jabronis in here. Fantasy Draft, quick. Thoughts? Fantasy Draft is fantastic. Yeah, check it out. Fantasy Draft is linked up down below. They're sponsoring the NBA videos for November. Hopefully after that as well. So check it out. It should be linked up down below. Yeah, it's awesome. The people who won, I'll announce them on tomorrow's video. But I got the final email. All the accounts were accredited. So if you got credit in your account for a ticket into this week's entry for the main event, make sure to check on Fantasy Draft because they were credited this morning. Sal, would you pivot to someone else instead of Samuels? No, I'm probably going to play 100% Samuels. And then if he doesn't do well, and honestly, if he doesn't do well, oh well. Like, I'm not overthinking this spot. I get it. People want to fade him. People want to match the field. I'm just going to have 90 to 100% of him and feel okay about it. And if he scores me 5 fantasy points, which I highly doubt if he's healthy, but if he does, you just chalk the week. It's fine. I'm not betting my life savings on Draftkings. I have a very much so Excel spreadsheet where the amount of money I'm betting today, if I was to lose every single dollar of it, it does not impact my life in any which way. So playing Jaylen Samuels at $4,000, I do not think is risky, even at his ownership. I think that I personally just want to get leverage and double the field. So I'll play 100% or so. What do we got? 11:42. Cool. 18 more minutes to go, and then I'll answer the Discord chat as well. So yeah, definitely check out if you're interested in Patreon. It's linked up down below. I think we have 300 and close to 350 patrons now. It's pretty awesome. So check out all that content over there, both for NBA and or NFL if you're interested. I will also have golf content once the NFL is done. We're going to be shifting more focus into golf. Wide receiver page. Yeah, there you go. Who's your favorite tight end this week? These 3 tight ends I like. Well, I like these 7. But these 3, I think, are interesting. $2 donation, says PJ Erickson. Or I can pick up Jordan Howard. Who are your other options? I would pick up Jordan Howard. Yeah, I would pick over AP. And McCoy, I would pick up Jordan Howard. Yeah, I would probably drop like McCoy. I have almost 100% Robinson at wide receiver. Love his spot. He had 10-plus targets in 3 straight, and he's targeted a lot in the red zone. Philly has, he's targeted about a third of the time in the red zone. Yeah, I think Robinson's fine this week, and he's very low owned, which is very interesting how low owned he is. It's because he's priced around guys like Devontae, Godwin, Lockett, like he's in that range somewhat of the top 6, so nobody's really owning him. Mike says, Allen Robinson or Marvin Jones GPP? Allen Robinson, if you can get to it. Yeah, Allen Robinson. Are you locking Samuels this week? I never hit a lock button on a single person. I run my projections. I put them into Fantasy Cruncher. I set my rules, and I get what pops out. I do not set exposures. I think that is very wrong to do. You're manipulating the tool that you use for a reason, and when you set exposures on it, you're biasing it towards your biases. Do not do that. Do not put only give me 50% of this player and set a cap. No, don't do that. Whatever the projections say, and if you set your rules right, you should be fine. So I do not have a lock button on Samuels, but I will probably still get him 90 to 100% of the time once I'm off of this stream and run a final crunch. And in 3-max, single entry, things like that, I don't care how owned the guy is. He's $4,000 with pass catching upside in an offense that does not have their first string or third string running back. He is going to see 80+% of the work in an offense that wants to throw the ball to the running back against a defense that wants you to throw the ball to the running back. I'm not going to overthink this one. As a former tight end who is a fantastic, probably a top 10 pass catching running back in the league is Jaylen Samuels, to be honest with you. Top 10 might be steep just based on all the guys who can actually catch the ball. But in terms of after the catch, I think he's up there, top 10, top 12. Any love for Adrian Peterson? I had love earlier-ish in the week, but not now. No. And love is a very strong word to use for how I had slight interest. Now there's none. There's just better options. Like that was when we did not know for sure if we had value, and now we do. Jamal Williams is a sneaky play? I don't think so. He's too priced up. Jamal Williams, 5,900 is too much in my opinion. Jaylen Samuels okay on FanDuel. I don't even know what his price is over there. Honestly, I haven't looked up a fantasy or a FanDuel draft. Or pricing so far this season. So that is my 2 cents on that. Let me throw this in there. Make sure, I don't even know what's going on in that game. Make sure to follow me up over on Twitter. We're about to hit 4,000 followers. It's pretty cool. We're like 50 away. So make sure to go follow me over there. Is Darius Slay active? Yes, I believe he is. Are we getting bad Cousins today? Even if you get good Cousins, it's probably not paying off a $6,700 price tag. What do you think between DK Metcalf and Tyrell Williams? I prefer Tyrell Williams. Is DJ Moore a cash play, wide receiver 3? Yeah, he's a cash play. 900 viewers. Good to know. Thank you, PJ. Yo, Sal, Adrian Peterson or Howard in a GPP? Give me Howard. Noah Fant or Cam Brate? That's a toss-up. If Cam Brate is active, give me Cam Brate. Taylor Gabriel, Demaryius Thomas, GPP. Man, I'll say Demaryius Thomas, but sheesh, both are pretty bad. Somebody says, if you smell what The Rock is cooking. Yeah, I can do exactly what The Rock can do. You see these eyebrows? It's pretty cool, huh? That's what you're talking about if you smell as The Rock is cooking right there. How about that? All right, so for like the people asking me about all these tight ends here that are question marks and asking me to pick between them, they're all punt tight ends. I don't really have, and I talked about it on the closing thought show, but I don't have strong conviction around any of these guys. I understand that you can pay down on a tight end this week, and maybe it's even viable. These 3 guys are where I want all my exposure for the most part going. These 4 guys will be somewhat sprinkled in, right? These 3 guys make sense in stacks and as one-offs for big upside for their price tags. These 4 guys and below that are guys you are hoping land you with 10 points this week, and if they do, you'll be extremely happy. So when it's those types of players, I'll spread out my exposures between the 4 of them. These 4 guys combined might make up like 25% of my exposure, if that. That might even be high. So when it comes down to like these crappy tight ends, Greg Olson's fine at his price tag. Vance McDonald, I think, is fine at his price tag. I'd probably prefer Olsen for the routes he's running, even if he's not producing right now. Noah Fant or Cam Brate, it's literally a toss-up for me. Cam Brate's in the better total game with the higher team total, does not have Brandon Allen throwing him the ball. Noah Fant does not have Jeff Heuerman backing him up. Like, it's splitting hairs. I'd probably take Cam Brate, but they're both fine punt options at their price points. You need the same thing from each of them. Who scores the touchdown? I think Cam Brate scores a touchdown more than Noah Fant. That doesn't mean that Noah Fant can't do it today over Brate. I just think that more times than not, that's where you get. Throw a dart at Deshaun Jackson. Yeah, I think it's interesting. We haven't really had news on if he's going to be limited or not. There's just been speculation that he is. I do think Deshaun Jackson is interesting today. That said, it's very high risk, of course. It's a dart, though. That's for sure. Yeah. Samuel's 5K on FanDuel. It seems okay. So you like Curtis Samuel? I think he's okay. I prefer DJ Moore on the same team. Easier matchup. What do you think about Green Bay stacking the tournament? Yeah, I don't want it. It's really just Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones probably, so you can get there if you want. I think Aaron Rodgers is overpriced, and then I think there's just better options overall for stacks. I like the other side of that for the Chargers. You like David Montgomery? No, not this week. You got your David Montgomery game last week against a banged-up defensive line of the Chargers that is also still banged up. I finally got a chance to join you live. Welcome. So how do you feel about Stafford, Galladay, and Jones stacks? I think it's a fine stack. It makes sense, right? 2 primary pass catchers with upside, big bodies, good matchups. Do you like Marlon Mack? No, I don't, and I don't think anybody does. So maybe he's a sneaky play, but it's a brutal matchup. I have 0% Marlon Mack. Herndon is out. I heard that Herndon is active but might not be playing, but either way, it doesn't really change much for me. I just got notification that Herndon is playing, so check your source. Yeah, I heard he's active, but he might not be playing. Again, does not really affect too much for me. Sal, do you like Steelers defense and Mark Walton? Defense seems fine. It's a cheap home team, right? I think they might be favorites. I don't know. Cheap home team. They're probably not favorites, though, against the Colts. And then Mark Walton seems fine. No real conviction around either of those things, but they're both fine. Matt Moore and cash? No, not for me. Lindsey or Eckler? In a GPP, give me Eckler. Is Devontae Adams playing? We will know closer to lock. They seem optimistic that he'll be suiting up, but we don't know yet. Lockett or Mike Evans? Give me Mike Evans. Running backs, please. Yes. Yeah, so if you're still watching, hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. If you're watching on Sportscaster, hit that Become a Fan button. Totally easy to do. Green button. Red button on YouTube. Subscribe. Totally free to do. It helps me out. Helps me reach more people. I'll be on the Pat Mayo Experience tomorrow at 1 p.m. East Coast time live. You can come check out me and Pat discussing, recapping the week, looking ahead a little bit. So yeah, definitely check that out. Or you can check the audio version of that podcast once it goes up on Pat Mayo Experience, the PME. As well as my audio version. Yeah, definitely trying to boost a little bit of the audio version of the YouTube videos. Just reach more people, right? And the goal that I shared a little bit on Patreon this morning was to reach more people so that more third-party dollars come in for advertising through the podcast, which means I can lower all of the pricing on Patreon because that's my overall goal, is to make people have all the information I'm doing reach as many people for as little as possible, cost-wise for them. N'Keal Harry, dart throw Sunday to Monday slate? Not for me. Marvin Jones Jr. or Tyrell Williams? Tyrell Williams. Wide receivers page, please. Join Patreon. Love the content. Big help. Thank you, Frank. Appreciate that. Why so much love on Ertz today, Sal? Deshaun Jackson's back. They're going to be much less narrow. He's not going to see as many double teams, and he's $4,700 for a tight end playing 90% of the snaps and has 30-point upside. So that's why. Could a Minnesota wide receiver and Cousins stack fading Cook be viable for high finish, or just not enough? I just don't think there's enough there, Frank. Like, they're just too priced up. Like, if they were in the 6K range still, I would love to get to the Minnesota wide receivers this week. Kansas City secondary has been a little bit improved, getting a little bit healthier too. But the big piece is like they're just too expensive. You're literally paying Julio and DeAndre Hopkins price tags for Diggs and Thielen this week, and they're on the same team with a quarterback who more times than not in this situation will throw the ball 28 times. So it's just too much for me. Fresh haircut, says White Noise. Thank you. Yeah, I got it yesterday. Thank you. Hour in the Puerto Rican barbershop is amazing. It's the best. It's the best when you sit there, the blasting Puerto Rican, Hispanic, whatever it is, music. It's amazing. It's just a feel good place. I love it. Love that barbershop. Guy spends an hour on my hair, everything. So good, so good. Where's the crappy weather games this week, Sal? Don't really care, even if it's downpouring. I really don't think weather affects the games. Can you touch on Henry again, please? Derrick Henry. He's like my 8th interest at running back. He's okay. He's facing a Carolina team that you can beat on the ground, and they don't give up receptions to running backs, yet they still give up top 10 points because they give up rushing touchdowns and a lot of yardage, so fits his build a little bit. Not getting a ton of him, but he's interesting. Let's see that fade, Sal. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it too good. I don't know if you can see it. This camera's not that great with the light shining on it. It's probably just going to make it a little bit... I don't know. Maybe it looks good. Who knows? I'm subscribed. Please just answer. Zay Jones or Campbell? Yikes. Both are big yikes, but give me Campbell there. Both are big yikes. You're just kind of punting there. You're probably not going to win a tournament with that lineup. Anthony says, you got a PR? I don't know what that means. Sal, is Mark Ingram a play this week? I mean, if you're playing the slates that cover Sunday Night Football, I would say no. GPP Miami stack. Fitz Magic today versus Jets. I'm not going to get there. I'd rather do a Jets stack on the other side, but I don't even want that too much. Curtis Samuel or Mark Walton? Give me Mark Walton. What do we got? We got 8 more minutes. Get your questions in. If you want me to make sure I answer your question, you can donate to the channel. It's called Super Chat. It's on Super Chat on YouTube. You can donate. We raised over $1,200, close to $1,500 for that family for October, so that's really cool. I'm going to get to send them that money this week, so really cool. Probably on Monday, so nice job, everybody. Nice job. How about Bell today? Yeah, he's fine. Thoughts on Nick Chubb? Nick Chubb's in a really brutal matchup at a price point that I don't want to pay for with that ownership around him. I think he's one of the best running backs in the league, Nick Chubb. He's top 3 overall. And overall, he's behind only Dalvin Cook and Christian McCaffrey for rushing grades. He's number 1 in breakaway percentage, top 5 in elusive rating. He's fantastic. Brutal matchup for a guy who has high ownership. If Nick Chubb was 10% owned, I'd have 15 to 20%. He's 25+% owned. I'm going to have 15% or so. So I'm under the field. So I think he's fine, but at his ownership, I think it's too much. Thanks, Al. Good luck. Win big, man. Yeah, Diego, have a good day, my man. You too. Has Al called for the cage? Al Seinfeld? No, nobody's called for no cage match. Everybody keeps wanting to see me and Al do a head-to-head on his YouTube channel. I think it'd be fun. I'm surprised that so many people want to see that. As if it's just all love there. I don't know why people want to see so much competition there. It's funny, though. Mark Walton or Devontae Parker in a flex? Mark Walton. Ertz sucks, somebody says. I don't think so. I think that's an extremely bold thing to say. You realize Zach Ertz has been playing through double teams for a month straight now with no Deshaun Jackson and Mac Holmes catching 0 balls on the outside, so no teams have to put any safety help over there. It's been double teams for a month straight, and he's still producing. So Ertz sucks. That's actually the boldest thing I've seen so far today. If you had to choose Godwin or Evans, Godwin if I'm picking one today. Receiver in the best spot this week, regardless of price. Best spot? Probably Godwin. Yeah. Any love for James White on Fantasy Draft? Slight love, but there's so many other options if you're playing the full day slate, so not much. Is Thielen good to go? Yeah, he is. Thank you, Sal. Yeah, you bet. Can you review about the matchups for Keenan Allen and Mike Williams? Yeah, so Keenan Allen's probably going to be in the slot majority of the time. And in man coverage, he'll face Tramon Williams, who has only given up 8 receptions this season. But in zone coverage, the Packers have been beaten up in the slot. On the outside, when Keenan Allen's on the outside, he'll face Jair Alexander. And when Keenan Allen's on the outside, Mike Williams will get Kevin King. But for the majority of the game, Jair Alexander should be on Mike Williams, which is a brutal matchup for Mike Williams. A little bit of a bonus for Keenan Allen in the slot. Although Tramon Williams, 36-year-old defensive back, slot cornerback for the Packers, has been solid, he has not faced all that many great slot wide receivers this year. I mean, you're talking Deshaun Hamilton. You're talking Chad Beebe. You're talking Anthony Miller on limited snaps. So, yes, he's been fantastic. 8 catches, 1 per week for 14 yards per week out of the slot in man coverage. He has never played anybody this good. So, there's your breakdown. Cody says, cool seeing you on the PME. Congrats. Appreciate that. First time joining live. What's going on? Yeah, hit the subscribe button if you're joining live. Bell, Jones, or Jacobs? Those are really different price tags. I mean, Bell is $1,200 more, so him if you can get to him, but that's about it. Awesome show. I've missed it, but I'm debating Thielen or Adams. Adams there for me. Thanks, Al. Keep up the good work and good luck. You as well. You as well. Thanks for the awesome show. Yeah, you bet. Thank you for the response. No problem, William. Mark Walton or Devontae Parker? Mark Walton there. Hey, Sal, haven't heard much about Brissett. Any thoughts? No real interest there. Really tough defense he's facing. Does that, and on the road, does that own up things for Hunter Henry? Yeah. Open up things? Yeah, Hunter Henry's going to be in a good spot. Packers have been poor against good tight ends, but so is everybody. Zach Ertz, good game. Kelsey, good game. Waller, a smash spot game. Some garbage time, but a good game. It's a good spot for Hunter Henry. He's my most interesting and favorite play from the Chargers. Jack Doyle or Dallas Goedert? Jack Doyle by a mile. Dallas Goedert's going to get off the field a little bit more with Deshaun Jackson out there. Deshaun Jackson is active, and yes, that helps Zach Ertz a ton. What's up, Sal? Best cash QB in your opinion? Best cash QB? There's like a list of like 4 of them in the Patreon cash tiers. So I don't really have the one who's ranked above, at the top of the tiers, but I'll save that for the patrons. Cool. So we got 4 more minutes left, and I'm going to bounce. Any love for Robbie Anderson? Yes, he's priced up. You need the big touchdown. He's very inconsistent, but you know that when you're playing him. I'm not going to tell you that today's the day he hits a huge touchdown, but it's the best spot for him too against just a terrible secondary. Robbie Anderson due for his annual 175 and 2 touchdowns. Yes, he is. Due in terms of this matchup, not because he hasn't had it yet. I think that's a little bit bold to just say. McCole, Hardman, question mark? No, not for me. Sammy Watkins is back. Hardman's playing very limited snaps. He produced last week on very limited snaps. Tyrell Williams, question mark? I like him a lot. You got 3 minutes. I'm about to bounce. Somebody says donate, exclamation point. Yeah, donations would be cool. Give me the money. No, I'm kidding. Pick 2, Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, Christian McCaffrey. It's tough not knowing Devontae Adams' status, definitely. But, I mean, if you could afford McCaffrey. And then if you're playing in a GPP, give me Josh Jacobs for just the difference. But know that that's the riskier play. Like, Aaron Jones and McCaffrey is the best projected total. So if you're playing in cash there, if you want to get different, I like Josh Jacobs a lot. I need some T.Y. Hilton, GPP, Landry, GPP talk up or down. I like both of them. Jason. Quick, I need thoughts on the Raiders. I like them as a stack. I like Tyrell Williams, Darren Waller, and Josh Jacobs. I think all 3 of them are viable today. I like them. Landry or Moore? Slightly prefer Landry, but I like both DJ Moore and Jarvis Landry today. Landry's lower owned for GPPs. I also think he's a priority of the offense today. Is Samuels a must-play? He is probably going to be 95 to 100% owned in my lineups. We'll see in about 5 minutes, but yes. Anything to like on Haskins? Nope. There's a lot to like on the Bills' defense because of that. Philly running backs or not? I think Jordan Howard is a very, very thin GPP play that has a lot of upside at low ownership. That said, he's 3% owned. I'll probably have like 6% of him and double the field, and if he does nothing, it doesn't really hurt my lineups. OBJ at low ownership? No, he's going to face Chris Harris Jr., who's been shutting down Chris Harris Jr. has only allowed 6 catches combined for less than 100 yards combined to Allen Robinson, T.Y. Hilton, and Devontae Adams in shadow treatment this season. 6 catches for less than 100 yards for the 3 of them on shadow treatment. Yeah, terrible spot for OBJ against a team that just is terrible. PR equals Puerto Rican, Sal. Yeah, I know. I don't understand what that means. I have a barber. That's Puerto Rican. That's about it. What's for dinner? I have no idea. Probably a ton of veggies with some ground beef or ground turkey, something like that. I don't know. Some avocado. Miami running back, yes or no? He's okay if you want to get to Mark Walton. You don't have to now though. You have better value in Samuels. Samuels good for DK 15 DK points to fit in studs. He's not going to project for 15 DK points. He projects pretty damn close, though, for a $4,000 running back. Yes. My stance on Jaylen Samuels is that he is the best running back play in the slate, and I'm not overthinking it. I'm just going to put him on 100% of my lineups or close to it as a free square. And if he doesn't do well, I am well aware that I will not go broke if I do not have a good Jaylen Samuels day today. So that's my leverage on it. If you're somebody sitting there saying, oh my God, if Jaylen Samuels is in 100% of my lineups and he doesn't hit and I lose all my money, I can never play Draftkings again. Well, then you should probably reevaluate the way that you play Draftkings. Who do you like for QB? Here's my QB interest. Top team stacks today, Sal. Well, my QB interest will tell you who my team stacks I like are. There you go. Anyone that one dude this week? No. Tyrell Williams, question mark, play. Tyrell Williams is in play, yes. All right, gang. That's it. If you want a question answered right now, you can donate to the channel. I'll be here for 1 more minute. Otherwise, I'm about to bounce. Any more news? Field Yates. What you got? So nothing more. Cool. I think we're good to go. Duke Williams inactive. All right, everybody. Have a good day. It is noon. I'm about to peace out. Thank you all for tuning in. You can check out the NBA video that is up, and the projections will be out for NBA shortly. So peace out, gang. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Enjoy it. See ya.